But meanwhile, let's go back to the live press conference by Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley.
You know, the fact of the matter is that the sectors in which the NPAs have emerged over the years do pertain to the long gestation projects that were funded before 2011, 2012 for the most part. And therefore, almost by definition, a disproportionate amount of that is a legacy issue, although the recognition, the recording and the reporting of these have taken place relatively recently. ABN?
सर अभी आपने जब पॉलिसी ब्रेकिंग की थी तो आपने कहा था बैंकों के पास इंटरेस्ट रेट घटाने की और गुंजाइश है। पिछले कुछ समय से हमने जो क्रेडिट ग्रोथ देखा है वो काफ़ी स्लो है और आपके हिसाब से क्या कुछ करने की ज़रूरत है जिससे ये पिकअप करे, और आपके बाद बैंकों ने कहा कि इंटरेस्ट रेट घटाने की ज़्यादा गुंजाइश नहीं बनती है, आपका रिएक्शन?
I think that that comment was based on a couple of facts. One, the amount of reduction in the repo rate that we have undertaken, combined with the fact that the banks have benefited immensely from the influx of deposits, which are CASA deposits, that have come into the system, and the weighted average lending rate reduction has been considerably less. Given that, we feel that there is some scope for further reduction in lending rates. And if you see that for sectors such as housing, personal, etc., the reduction has been much more than for other sectors by the same bank. So the fact is you could look into reducing the lending rate for those sectors in which very little reduction in lending rate has come about so far, and therefore the weighted average lending rate for the system should come down. So that was the reasoning behind what was said. Mint?
Sir, in your latest monetary policy report, you seem to have focused more on non-fuel and non-food part of the CPI. But I mean, the mandate has been CPI. So do you think it's a change in stance? And to the finance minister, I mean, the change in stance of RBI from being accommodative to neutral, do you think that is disappointing because you have been trying to, induce growth through consumption, higher consumption?
So the commentary in our monetary policy statement by the MPC was the observation that the inflation ex food and fuel has hardly budged since September, and therefore if we want a further reduction in headline inflation, it's going to become difficult. And so it was not a change in the variable that we have been enjoined by legislation as a target. So it is not a change of stance with respect to that at all. Just a comment that since September, CPI inflation ex food and fuel has been difficult to bring down, and going forward to go towards 4 and away from 5 on a durable basis requires that CPI ex food and fuel to also come down.
Well, all finance ministers have a perpetual desire. But at the end of the day, we all respect the decision that the RBI takes.
Very urgently put, sir. Thank you. One more question, yes.
So this question is for the governor. Good afternoon, sir. So the FM has stated that it will obviously take time for the RBI to come up with the exact amount of money which has come back in that period of 8 November to December 30th. And you were also waiting for the NRIs to deposit the loans. But still, is there sort of a ballpark assessment that we might have been able to make? And secondly, is there also an assessment of the cost of printing notes in those 4 presses from November 8th to December 30th?
So, you know, actually the finance minister made a very good point yesterday, at least I heard of it only yesterday, but I think it was an interview he did give yesterday, that the number that we now should divulge should be a verified number and a number that is congruent with the complex accounting that is there by definition, given that there are tens of thousands of bank branches and 4,000 currency chests, and given that the window is open up to 31st March and then at a lower level until 30th June, we need to be careful and try as hard as possible that this is a number that is not a mere estimate, but a verifiable number both physically and in an accounting sense. Last question.
Sir,
Last question.
Sir,
Last comment. Just wanted to get a sense of whether there was any discussion on the electoral bonds that RBI could issue to get support.
Well, today's meeting really is on the economic situation and various budget suggestions. And one of the board members did ask some question with regard to clarification at what government had in mind. And I've suggested, explained what the government really has in mind with regard to the electoral bonds. Now, the whole scheme itself, when we announce it, will be after discussing with the RBI itself as to which is the designated bank, what is the duration of the bonds, at what period of time, for how long should it be open before every election. Now, these are all minor details which will be a part of that scheme, which will come out after a detailed discussion.
Sir, do you want to add anything? I think we are already about 10 minutes overboard, so we'll close the press conference. Thank you very much.